Hello everyone, welcome to Scorcher Toys at AnyMoon.com's review of Arcadia's 160 VF-0A Shin Kudo Custom. This is the toy that was released in August 2015 for 34,800 yen. Inside the box you'll get a gun, 4 sets of 3 missiles on trees, 2 sets of conformal fuel tanks that go on top of the fighter mode that have an optional slot for attaching armaments that would come with a ghost booster that will be sold separately, or you might have to track down the old Yamato version. I'll talk about that in a little bit. There are 3 display stand adapters for a display stand you can no longer find, 2 conformal tanks, fast packs that go on the legs. They probably also have micro missile launchers in there in universe, pilot figure, instructions, and stickers, as well as an extra pitot tube. That's that little extension that sticks off the front of fighter mode. Now, you may have noticed I'm starting in Batroid mode, even though the toy comes packaged in fighter mode. The answer for that is sad but clear. During my first transformation, this leg fell off. You might remember a very similar thing happened to my VF-0D toy. So that means Arcadia has not addressed the issue that causes these legs to fall apart. And it's apparently even more common on the 0A toy. Hopefully that means they'll address it before the 0S toy. But in the meantime, I am left with a $300 paperweight for the second time. So let's take a close look at the leg. It has the conformal fast pack on there. It does not connect via a magnet like the old Yamato version used to do. It's got a peg in the back, a peg in the front. There's a slot in this triangle, slot right there. It does peg on pretty satisfactorily. And once it's on there, it stays on very nice and tight. We can do some good close-ups with this. This toy is a baby blue-gray, and it has a very, very light white paint covering the entire front of it, including where the landing gear doors are. This white paint appears in various other places. It's on the bottoms of the arms, the edges of the wings, the tail fins, the nose cone. You can see it in quite a few places. It's almost as if they put a sugar glaze on the existing color. It's very thin and it scratches very easily, so definitely something to be aware of as you handle the toy, besides the leg falling off. Otherwise, in Batroid mode, we can also look at one of the gimmicks that they've added from to the VF-0A that wasn't on the VF-0D. There is now a little swing that comes out and closes that gap when looking down from above. So that's a nice little addition. If they ever do a second VF-0D, I hope they include that as a new gimmick to the toy. Otherwise, I can't really go through articulation too well because this toy will fall down. And obviously, I am not very thrilled with that. Let's see if I can actually do a gearwalk mode. Okay, so I can't exactly do gearwalk mode because of the whole leg that doesn't stay attached, but I can show you a couple other things. The toy comes with the gun that came with the Yamato VF-0 toys as well. Slight modification to the handle. It does have a collapsing grip. This is the same thing that was on the VF-0D. So it stows away for fighter mode, which we'll get to in a moment. One of my gripes about the Arcadia VF-0 is they didn't really improve upon, there's a couple things to talk about there. They didn't really improve upon the pitot tube, so it's just removable. It just rotates around, so theoretically during transformation you just kind of rotate it. It would have been nice if it was kind of like built in and latched in somehow and got out of the way for you. Doesn't really do that. Alright, so the intakes. They also don't clip in very well, which is echoes of Yamato all over again here. So it's supposed to be nice and tight and flush there, but you can see it gets a gap immediately. So the intakes do not stay as firmly up as they should, which is a bummer. My Arcadia toy also has the ever so slight little bit of paint that was missing off the nose cone, probably just rubbed off during shipping, so that's lame. The VF-0D toy didn't have this gimmick because it's a 2-seater, but the Arcadia toy now has the rotating cockpit to it, so as you transform, You can have Shin so he's not pointing straight down the whole time, which is a nice little plus. Otherwise, gear walk mode would be alright. Again, if your leg doesn't fall off. Alright, here's fighter mode, and I've got a lot of good news for you. One, if you have a VF-0A toy, the armaments will attach to the wings. Two, that smudge on the nose was actually just a smudge. It cleaned up, so that's good for me. Also good for me and you if your leg falls off. It handles fighter mode just fine with a detached leg. So yay! While I've got that armament off, let's take a look at the missiles that come with the toy. They are 3 individual missiles on a tree that just kind of peg in like so. So that is good. So again, this is a 0D weapon. Does not really come with the toy or anything like that. If you happen to have a 0D, you can plug it in. Otherwise, this goes on like that. Clicks on easy, stays on tight, all positive things. This toy has an air brake. It has the opening canopy, which I showed you with the seat that reclines. It has integrated landing gears, articulated front tow bar. The rear landing gears pivot outwards and close. They seal up completely perfectly. So I mentioned easy to scratch paint. You're going to have to be really careful on how you get those doors open again because of that thin white paint that covers the front of the leg. You might want to use like a guitar pick maybe, but be very, very, very careful in how you do that. These intake covers come off, and they are also very, very tight to the toy. So what I do is I get the intake cover from my Arcadia YF-19 and slip it in underneath, because that's the only way I figured out how to pop those off without shedding blood. So there you go. Obviously the gun could attach there, but since my leg is falling off, I opted not to do that. So let's go ahead and see if we can attach a Yamato Ghost. In order to put the Ghost Booster on, we're going to want to pop off these pieces here. They should come off fairly easily. That was a gripe on my Yamato toys, is that those pieces, sometimes the pegs were stuck in so tight you'd break the pegs off. So doesn't seem to be a problem with the Arcadia. So there's one piece there, and then here is the other piece. And now we have the grooves that the Ghost will have to fit into. The Ghost Booster actually works. The armaments on the wings and on top, not so much. I can get them to just barely hold onto the lips, but as you can see, this thing is just kind of rocking and super loose there. The other ones have fallen off from the first time I touched it. I could probably get it to peg back in for a split second, but as soon as I touch the toy again, they fall out. And you can see even these guys, they aren't meant to fit. So it leaves the question out there if Arcadia is planning on doing their own Ghost, since these weapons seem to have been made so they wouldn't fit. So that's interesting. The Ghost Booster itself is on there nice and tight. It's very firmly in place. I've got no issues. I've heard somebody say that you actually can't install the Ghost Booster because you have to push in too tight here. I don't really think it's much tighter than it feels comfortable with. I don't feel like I'm bending or breaking anything. So fits on there. It's pretty nice and snug. The fins in the back are right where they're supposed to be, so everything looks good there. So the Ghost Booster is an option. The armaments, not so much. Okay, so do I recommend the VF-0A from Arcadia? No, I don't. My leg fell off. You might be thinking, okay, maybe yours is the only one whose leg fell off, even though the leg fell off my VF-0D toy also. And I'm not. There's been several requests to me after my VF-0D had its leg fall off on Ask Me How I Fixed It. I obviously haven't fixed my VF-0A. It seems like the leg is a little more glued together on that one. I didn't have to break any glue on the VF-0D, and it seems like I'd have to for the VF-0A. There is a video tutorial now teaching people how to fix their broken legs. Not by me, but you can find it easily on YouTube, so check that out if you're one of the suckers who did buy this toy and has your leg fall off. If the leg didn't fall off, if this toy were built properly, I would definitely recommend it over the Yamato version, even though I'm still having those sloppy intakes here. Not a doubt in my mind. It's much better than that. Looks good. We finally got a little dot colored here. It's a big win. But as it is, you can get so many better toys for your money. So unless you're die-hard Macross Zero fan, keep shopping. Check out anymoon.com for my full review, and as always, thanks for watching.